Hey guys, welcome to Wilderness Ranch Disc Golf Course in Lakeview, Arizona, just outside of Show Low, Arizona. My name is Josh Batazzi. We're going to be walking through the course here today. So starting out, hole number one is a pretty well dead straight 202-foot par 3 with a very, very tight tunnel, as you'll see, probably 3-foot, 4-foot wide tunnel here. So I am going with a Star Sonic. I'm just going to release it on a slight hyzer and just let it pop up here. I let it go a little bit left. I get a really good kick off of a dirt mound and then off of a tree. So it's going to give me a good look, about 25 feet here. So that's a good one to get off the bat. Hole two, we're looking at 333 feet. OB right, which you'll see a fence there. So I go with a Star TL. Just throw it flat, hard, and try to get it up to the pin. Another tight gap, as you see there. And this one was pretty well perfect out of my hand, exactly how I wanted it. Maybe a little low if I wanted to ace run it, but I am fine with putting it 15 feet away from the basket all day long. So easy little tap in there to take back-to-back birdies. Hole three, 280 feet. Very, very tight off of the tee, probably 5 foot wide at the most. And I go with a Prodigy M4. I'm going to throw it pretty hard, just get it to pop up and go straight, and hopefully give ourselves another putt here. So that was, again, pretty much just like I wanted it to. I hit that tree, took some, I guess, a few feet off of it, so left me with this probably about 30-foot putt for the birdie. So, and that one felt really good. So going 3 for 3 on the first three is awesome. Hole four is a dogleg right, 210 feet. I go with a Firebird here, and it's a 2019 Sexton Firebird, forehand. And I just let that one go a little bit too high. If that was lower, it probably would have been perfect. And you can see I hit a tree, and I have, I don't know, about 100-ish feet left. So I have to do just a small, easy turnover with a Star Sonic. Leave myself about a 25-foot, 20-ish, 25-foot putt. It was a pretty tough putt with that little branch bush thingy in the way. But see if I can put it in there, and a little teeter-totter, and fell in the wrong direction. So wasn't too terribly excited about that one, but it happens. Hole five, par 3, 305 feet. This one is dead straight, very, very tight gap if you're going to go straight. So I go with a forehand, just trying to go just to the left of the bigger tree that you can see there in the middle, and just kind of get lucky and sneak through everything. I turn it over a little more than I wanted to, and of course catch a tree. So moving up to the stance here, I have a hyzer look that I'm going out with a Pro Pig, and I shank it into another tree. So that was fun. So step up. I have about a 60-foot, maybe 65-foot jump putt here. I'm going to try to ring it up so I can save that par here and keep that hot streak going. And not at all. At least I gave it enough power, but way high. I leave myself just inside of the circle. And just didn't commit to that one. So low left, and gonna take a 5 double bogey. So moving on to hole number 6. Hole 6, we have par 4, 535 feet. Pretty straight, just very demanding off of the tee. It's all about the tee shot on this. You have to clear the gap, and you should be fine. But that's just not necessarily an easy task to do. I'm going with a 3-line AJ Destroyer. I turn it over too much, hit a tree. Leave this as my second shot, and I shank it into another tree, which makes a par 4 very challenging. So then I have this. I'm going to go with just kind of like a straight, slightly turned over rat shot. And I just just barely missed my line. Really, I was just a couple inches away from that being a great shot. But it kicks me into the open, and that's fine. So I can just hopefully get up and down for a bogey at this point. So trying to save that bogey. I'm still about 150, actually probably closer to about 200 feet out at this point right here. So I'm just going to go with a, this is an R Pro Pig, which was a terrible shot. Move up, I have about 60 foot here to try to save the bogey. Out of my hand, I thought this was in, but just a little bit too low. So I'm going to tap in a back-to-back double bogeys, but that one's a 6. That one hurts pretty bad. This course is amazing. The course designer is Pete Ulibarri, and then the owner is out there doing work all the time. So hole 7, par 3, 280, dogleg right. I'm going with a PD2, beefy. Just going to throw it on a forehand line. Give it a little bit of height and give it a chance to get all the way up to the basket here. And out of my hand, I thought that was absolutely perfect. Did leave it a little bit short. Actually, now that I see that, it looks like it caught that tree there. So might have kept a little off of it. I'm about 30 feet here. And that was perfect. Right out of my hand, thought it was in, knew it was in. Moving on to hole 8. Hole 8's pretty fun. You can either go forehand, you can go backhand. I like the forehand route personally, 360 feet. Again, challenging, tight lines. And that's just an absolute shank. So that is not what you want to do on a very tight, challenging hole. Here I'm going to try to go with a flex with a PD2. And I hit another tree. So the course can definitely and does have some teeth. It's just all about whether you hit those lines or not. So a lot of it for me on this day was not committed, which obviously isn't a good thing in woods. So I'm going with a Sexton Firebird, trying to get out and around, hit another tree. So I'm throwing 4 here. Gonna go forehand roller, didn't commit at all, hit another tree. So I am throwing 5. Yeah, I'm throwing 5 from, 200 feet away. I go with a Sonic. Just barely caught that tree there, which left me with about 30 foot left for a triple bogey 6. So at this point, I'm just wanting to get off of this hole for sure. And just insult to injury, roll away to another 30 footer. So see if we can lock that in for a 7. There we go. That's better. Got it up in the air and actually gave it a chance. So excited to be off this hole. I love the hole. Just did not love the way that I played it at that time. So again, all these little paths are leading you to the next hole, which is awesome. We're on hole 9, dogleg right. It cuts really hard right after about maybe 200 feet or so, 250 feet. So I'm going with that same PD2 as I threw on hole 7. Just trying to flex it, get it in the gap, and finish hard right. And I just left it a little bit too flat for what I need, so it caught those trees. You don't want to be right on this hole at all. Looking back at it, the better play is probably just a straight backhand to get you into the landing zone. So here I'm just going to try to cut through these trees over here. Sorry, bad camera angle, but perfect shot. Really, it left me with this super awkward putt here, but it gives me a look at a birdie actually. Until I do that and leave myself with another very challenging putt from 25 feet from a knee and hit the next tree. So, and a fun little tap in there. So yeah, some bad holes on that one, but you're gonna have that. So I'm 6 over after the front 9, but I know there's scores to be had. So hole 10, par 3, 349. I go with a Thunderbird on this hole. My goal is just to throw it straight and let it finish and skip left at the end. So this is a newer Champ Thunderbird, or a Thundervant, I think is what these ones are called. And again, just trying to throw it flat And I did not throw it flat. I threw it on a hyzer, so cut in way early. You want to cut past that tree that mine went in front of, and then allow it to skip up, towards the basket there. So I'm left with kind of an awkward kneeling forehand upshot, about 180, 190 feet away. Only goal here is just to put it close and take a par at this point. So I have about 25 or so. And that felt good. Putting felt really good for the most of the day, which is nice. So moving on to hole 11. Hole 11, you can go flex forehand or something that's going to hyzer flip and go straight backhand. So I go with it's a 2-time old AJ Destroyer that's pretty flippy. So shout out to my boy Dylan Vanthol for that one. He gave me that, so I love this disc. And on this one, I didn't quite give it enough height. It was just starting to flip. Catches a tree, leaves me, I don't know, about 200 or so away. And I'm just going to throw an R-Pro pig up there and put it, that close to the basket. So nice little tap in for about 15 feet there. So back-to-back pars is okay. Moving on to 12 dead straight, 295 feet. I go with a straighter Prodigy M4, 400G M4 on this one. Kind of low ceiling. Again, I know I sound repetitive, but everything's really tight off the tees here. So just gonna try to push this straight through here. A little bit lower than I wanted it, but it's gonna slide up to about 25 feet, just a little bit behind this tree here, and give me a putt. So dead center. Prodigy baskets catch really well. So moving on to 13, par 3, 455. And this one, I thought this was a par 4 actually. But my goal on this is to throw a beefier Destroyer through the little gap that you can see up there. And I want to miss just right or left of the tree that I perfectly missed left of. And actually, come to find out, on this hole, I threw it a little bit too well because I kind of pinched myself off and then have a really tight gap here to try to throw a pig through, which I did not execute, and my wife thought it was funny, so we're going to give you another angle of that terrible shot there. So we're going to move up. We're going to have about a 55-foot jump putt, straddle putt deal here, which I left just a little bit short, so left myself about a 20-foot putt here on the elevated basket. Awesome hole though, really cool course. Again, I know I've already said that, but really great job, and the owners out there are constantly out there working and cleaning. So if you're in the area at all, check it out for sure. And no commitment at all, no concentration on that putt. So going to tap in a 5. So pretty cool. With the head shake, as you will see. That's what happens. That's me getting mad, is shaking my head. So hole number 14 is a par 3, 410 feet. Pretty well dead straight. Again, you can go backhand, you can go forehand, whatever you're comfortable with. At this point, I was kind of thinking to myself not to throw forehand because almost all of them have gotten me in trouble. So I'm going to go backhand with a star TL off the tee, just try to get through the gap. And I don't do that, so it kicks me off to the right next to this fence, and I have no option except for just a pitch out. And then from here, I'm going to throw it into another tree, which should never happen because that was like a big gap. And then I'm going to go R-Pro flex forehand, R-Pro pig, just to try to get up next to the basket. And I left myself about 30 foot, maybe just inside, right at the edge of the circle, 33 feet. And again, the putting was feeling totally fine all day. So that one felt good. So moving on to hole 15, 421 feet dead straight, tight gap. You can go forehand, you can go backhand. I've played it a few times. I'm going to go forehand on this one with an AJ Destroyer. Not super flippy, but kind of flippy. And this one, I just want to punch it straight through and just throw it a little bit too high. That's the flight angle I wanted, just a little bit high out of my hand. So caught that tree, and it's going to kick me into the right-hand side and leave me with kind of an awkward straddle, or actually patent pending. I think I go with a rat here. Yep, so a rat, just try to get up and down. from about 200 feet. And the only awkward part about that is that tree was right in my way. So actually on the follow through, I got some splinters on my hand. So got a lucky kick there out of that tree, kind of dropped me down to about 25 feet. And so going to have that to save a par. So there we go. That one felt good again. So good thing my putting was on. Otherwise, this day would have been not the most fun.
Par.
But moving on to 16. So 16 par 4, 540 feet. It's going to go dead straight and then kind of through some trees across the field. I normally would go forehand on this, but this RV was kind of parked in my way on the left side over there. So I'm just going to go with a destroyer up and over that little tree there. And just try to just punch it out enough that I can have a forehand look at it. The wind was not good for that play. It was a left to right, so it kind of did smash it down. So forehand would have even been better. Upshot, I'm going PD2. I'm trying to punch through this gap, and you see the basket, I think, up and to the right if she pans a little bit. So I'm really only about 45. Have a straddle, low ceiling putt for the 3. And don't make it. So now I'm tapping in for the par 4. So again, right now, I mean, the way that the front 9 went, I'm okay with pars. So hole 17 is 200 feet. It's really like a shape of a U in all reality. So I just go really, really high turnover with a Nate Sexton Firefly, a putter, and just try to get it all the way up into the gap. And out of my hand, I thought this was really good, but you got to even be tighter than I was right there to get it all the way out there, because from where I landed, it's still about 45, 50 feet with a really low ceiling. So I'm just going to go with a little flick with a Star Sonic. Try to give it a little bit of a look, but that's fine. Punch it up for easy tap-in par. And then on to 18. So par 4, 558, pretty straight, a little bit downhill, but with a low ceiling. So it doesn't give you the opportunity to smash it as hard as you can. Unless you go huge hyzer, but that takes a lot of distance off because of where the basket is. So I'm going with a flippy destroyer. You see me batting off a B was bothering me there. So I did not commit to this really, so I didn't even give it a chance to flip up. So it's going to leave me about 250, 220-ish feet. I'm just going to go with an R Pro Pig, try to put it close to tap in the birdie. So this one probably could be a par 3 as well. I could see a lot of big arms getting it out to that for sure. So I have this about 25, 30 feet, which I made all of them today, so that was a good feeling. So overall, +6 on the day. Not the greatest round I've ever had, but you guys definitely need to check out this course, and I appreciate you guys hanging out listening. Thanks.